Hello, I am Christy-Lee Boodoosingh, and joining me today are Alicia Dublin, Ayana Evans-Lyttle, Breya John, and Farisa Ali. We will be presenting our PowerPoint titled Staff's Guide to a Safe and Stimulating Environment. Now let us go on to see what this presentation will consist of. The table of contents is as follows. Introduction, slides 3 to 4. Bronfenbrenner's theory and its importance to educators, slides 5 to 7. Environmental factors that pose challenges to a safe preschool environment, slides 8 to 10. Science children display in an unsafe home environment, slides 11 to 13. Teachers' home safety tips to parents, slides 14 to 16. Conclusion, slides 17 to 19. Closing activity, slides 20 to 24.
Hello, my name is Farisa Ali, and I will be presenting to you the introduction and conclusion parts of this presentation.
The objective of this workshop today is to expose staff members on how to create and maintain a safe and stimulating environment. A safe and stimulating environment is one where preschoolers feel protected while being encouraged to learn. This environment should enhance exploration, play behaviors, and knowledge in young children. It should also safeguard children from the elements while providing a climate that encourages daily activities such as eating, sleeping, and using the bathroom. For this workshop, you can look forward to Russian-born American developmental psychologist Uwe Bronfenbrenner's theory and how it can help educators like yourself plan for the early childhood environment. We would then present to you 2 environmental factors that affect safety at school. Thirdly, the presentation would focus on the signs that children display and the factors affecting their safety at home. Moreover, we would be providing you, teachers, tips that you can share with parents when it comes to being safe at home. Lastly, we would conclude with a summary of the presentation and a closing activity for all staff members. Remember to take your notes, grab some free coffee, and get ready for our main content.
Hi everyone, my name is Breya John and I will be explaining to you Uwe Bronfenbrenner's theory and how it can be used to help educators plan for the early childhood environment. Uwe Bronfenbrenner was an American psychologist who developed a theory called the ecological systems theory to explain how the innate qualities of children and their environment interact to acquire a more complex nature. This complexity reveals itself as a child's development is influenced by the environment. Bronfenbrenner opines that because children are netted in various ecosystems, they inevitably interact with and influence each other in all aspects of the child's life. He believed that children are influenced by 5 concentric systems. The 5 systems. The microsystem is a child's immediate environment made up of parents, caregivers, school, and peers. This system stands as a child's venue for initial learning about the world and is the most intimate learning setting. In this system, child growth is affected by how these groups or individuals interact with the children. The mesosystem encompasses interrelationships between different microsystems. This is where linkages between home and school, peers and family and church or community are made. Next, there is the exosystem, which describes the relationship between 2 or more social institutions which indirectly affect the early development of children, since they may actively participate in this system. The macrosystem is the largest and most distant relationship to a child, but still has significant influences on them. This includes the society, cultural patterns and values, and economic conditions under which the family lives. And finally, the chronosystem considers changes that occur at a time in a child's life and or how a larger social, historical context influenced them. Now we'll look at how this theory can help educators. 1. It can build teacher-student relationships. The microsystem, mesosystem, and exosystem all help a teacher to understand the importance of building a solid relationship with students. For instance, being aware of how the systems work will allow the teacher to consciously take into consideration the need for a positive, structured learning environment. Secondly, by assessing the social factors of a child's life using Bronfenbrenner's theory, teachers can better plan their approach in the early childhood environment. When children are disruptive, the teacher will not label the student because of their disruptive behavior, but what the behavior is indicated based on experiences in other systems. And finally, it helps the teacher to plan personalized learning in creating a communication-rich classroom that involves the parents. Instruction is differentiated and pays to the needs of the learner.
Hi, I am Ayana Evans-Lyttle, and I'm here to present to you 2 environmental factors that pose us challenges to a safe preschool environment. The first one is indoor air pollution. There are things that are found in a preschool environment that can compromise the quality of the air that children and staff breathe. Indoor pollutants such as dust particles, smoke, or fumes can affect the health of children in a preschool setting. Exposure to these pollutants can cause or contribute to respiratory problems such as asthma and colds. They can also cause severe allergic reactions in children. The second one is hazardous chemicals or substances. Exposure to toxic chemicals such as pesticides within preschool setting can jeopardize a safe environment for children. Children may encounter these chemicals when they consume food that has pesticides residue or when it is applied to crops. Children may also be exposed to pesticides during outdoor activities. For example, during the break period, a child who is playing may touch something that has on pesticides residue and get it on their skin, in their eyes, or in their mouth, which will harm them. Exposure to these pesticides can make children sick and experience symptoms such as memory loss, which will affect their learning, headaches, vomitings, uncontrollable bladder movements, or blur vision. In most severe cases, it may result in death, and some children, through exposure, can get cancer.
I am Christy-Lee, and today I will be speaking about 2 signs that a child might display if his or her home environment is unsafe. I will be expanding on air pollution at home from secondhand smoke and lead-based paint from older constructed homes. Since children's lungs are still developing, if they live in an environment where there are frequent smokers, children who are exposed to secondhand smoke are at risk of developing chronic coughs, which also lead to throat pain and wheezing. This can result in children not being able to focus in school, since they will be disrupted from excessive coughing that brings them pain, and this will negatively affect their academic performance as well as their development. According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, before 1978, persons used lead-based paint in the construction of their homes. Children who currently reside in older homes are at risk of lead poisoning due to swallowing or inhaling dust from deteriorating surfaces containing lead paint. Exposure to lead during childhood puts children at risk of developing attention deficit disorder. Children with attention deficit disorder have difficulty staying focused in the classroom as they are always fidgeting or moving about, thus making it a bit harder to learn in a regular classroom environment.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia Dublin and I will be sharing with you 3 tips that teachers can give to parents to ensure safety at home for their children.
Tip number 1. Preventing interaction with household chemicals. We know that household chemicals are very hazardous. Therefore, this should be stored in high cupboards that are out of the reach of children. But in the event that children can reach these cupboards need to be secured with child-proof locks so that they cannot easily open them. Also, these chemicals need to be stored in their original containers so that they would not be easily mixed up or confused with familiar products. Tip number 2. Avoiding burns at home. Children can get burns from many things in the kitchen, so to avoid this, a safety gate can be placed at the entrance of the kitchen to keep children out. Also, Children are exposed to many other heating appliances around the house, so they should not be left unsupervised, especially when these appliances are active. Tip number 3. Prevention of choking. Children are naturally curious, and to foster this curiosity, they like to place things in their mouths. So to avoid choking, the areas that they play frequently should be cleared of any small items that can be placed in their mouths. Also, at mealtime is when children are liable to choke, so children should be served bite-sized portions that are manageable, and they should be engaged in eating etiquette, such as no talking when eating.
Hi everyone, this is Farisa again, and I will be doing the conclusion. As teachers, it is our responsibility to consider the school environment from our perspective as well as that of the little ones that inhabit it. The theme of our workshop today was entitled A Staff's Guide to a Safe and Stimulating Environment. We learned about Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory and how a child's environment impacts their growth and development. This theory also helps educators to better understand the influences in a child's life. Furthermore, we identified that indoor air pollution and hazardous chemicals or substances are two environmental factors that pose a challenge to the preschool environment. When children are exposed to pollutants, this can cause respiratory problems. An unsafe environment at home can lead to children having chronic coughs if they are subjected to secondhand smoke from air pollution. Similarly, exposure to lead paint in older constructed homes can cause attention deficit disorders, which causes children to be unable to focus in class. The tips that were shared to ensure a safe environment at home included preventing children from interacting with household cleaning chemicals, using safety gates at home to prevent children from getting burnt, and supervising children closely in order to avoid choking incidents from occurring. In closing, a safe and stimulating environment should make students, teachers, and parents feel appreciated, engaged, and empowered. It should be a place that is aesthetically pleasing, inviting, safe, and sound. You have been a wonderful audience. Please give yourselves a round of applause. And stay tuned for our closing activity session. Thank you. We learned today about the ecological systems theory. Fill in the blanks below, but remember, only the correct spelling will be considered. Yuri B. was a blank born blank developmental psychologist.
Do you think that Bronfenbrenner's theory would be beneficial to this institution? If yes, then why?
Name one environmental factor that threatens a safe preschool environment and say how it affects the health of children.
Can you name the signs that children show when exposed to secondhand smoke and lead-based paint?
What is one tip parents can use to ensure safety at home?